Hello everyone and welcome to our monthly MBH board chat with our CEO Callum Laing. I'm your host Lisa Maynard-Atem. So, hi Callum, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Lisa. And yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. The weather's not looking so great, but other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Beautiful here in Singapore, if that helps.
Oh, thanks. Manchester doesn't quite have the same weather, unfortunately, but maybe in a couple of months we might see some sunshine. Anyway, I thought we could kick things off with a rather exciting announcement that went out earlier today about BEP Engineering Services. So I will hand over to you.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's obviously it's been 2 or 3 months since our last acquisition, so it's always nice to get one in. BEP, we have been talking to you for probably just under a year, but really nice family-run business out of Canada, incorporated just over 40 years ago. So been around for a while, and yeah, first company in Canada. Hopefully the first of many, so that's good. And the third company into the engineering vertical, so that's exciting as well. And I think the nice thing about Bernie at BEP is that having been in the industry so the company's been around for 40 years. He's been in the industry for a little bit longer, but he knows all the players in around, and there's quite a few that are sort of the owners are looking to retire, looking at what the options are. So he's pretty confident that there's a few other companies that he could sort of roll up with his. So yeah, no, it's very exciting and great to get that notice out today.
Yeah, perfect timing for our chats. And I was really happy when I saw that. Moving on to some more good news. This time, Gill Prime, largest largest order book in their 37-year history, which again just kicks off the year to a fantastic start. So, yeah, I thought we could have a chat about that as well because that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see quite a few of those sort of reports coming from the companies. Definitely seems to be a lot of pent up demand, and so the nice thing is with Guild Prime and a few others, these are contracts that are locked in. It's sort of all booked up. So and it gives them flexibility. So when they do have those orders locked in, and it gives them time to plan and resource, and also means that when they get more orders coming in, they can sort of increase the margins because they don't necessarily need the orders. So it just kind of gives flexibility, and I think if anyone's ever worked in small business, it's incredibly exciting when things are going well, and when you're bouncing to new projects and you're growing and you're adding team members. That's a lot of fun, and certainly I think after the last couple of years, all of the companies in the group are relishing being able to have fun and serve clients again. So I think we've got like 3 or 4 companies that have sort of almost booked in like last year's entire revenue in the first 6 months of this year. So some really strong reports coming up from the companies, which is great.
Yeah, it's great because it means we've got lots to celebrate at the principals event later this year. So that will be exciting. Another one, which I know we've discussed before, but Robinsons, again, another organization within MBH that's doing incredibly well. In terms of revenues of over 20 million. I mean, that's just fantastic. The good news just keeps coming in. It's great.
Yeah, and I love that story. Sorry, they got some great media coverage a few weeks ago. Last year they were featured in the Guardian because of sort of the great push towards it. Interestingly, I sent the team a link that I saw from a story in the US. There's 18 billion worth of motorhome orders that are unfulfilled in the US alone because they can't get the supply. And that's one of the challenges that Robinson has had. That they could be doing even better if it wasn't for issues with constrained supply chain. But because they're part of our group, they have definitely been able to sort of leverage that to negotiate better terms and get preferential treatment from suppliers. So it is working. It doesn't show any sign of slowing down either. So that's really, really promising. And I think we'll see a few more good news stories coming from that sector.
Yeah, well, my mum won't let me forget about Robinsons because she wants a caravan, as I think I mentioned last time. So that's on my to-do list.
Yeah.
It gets mentioned every month. So yes, but no, it's fantastic news for them. Another one of the organisations that I wanted to touch on was Samuel Hobson House, because they are investing in their staff and investing in their training, and they're also introducing the Real Living Wage initiative, which I think is fantastic. So it'd just be good to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, I think if any company has had a tough time over the last couple of years, I mean, Samuel Hobson is a care home, and kind of dealing with all of the unknowns and the uncertainties and the difficulties and the trauma of the last couple of years. It's been incredibly hard, and it's been incredibly tough on staff in all care homes around, so especially Samuel Hobson's. But Vicky Smith, who's running it, is doing a brilliant job, cares very deeply about her team. And yeah, just I think, big corporates always sort of protest and try and keep minimum wage as low as possible and stuff. And small businesses tend to have a slightly different approach to it. And genuinely want to look after their team and know that teams need a living wage. And so they do invest in their teams. And Samuel Hobson is investing in the team and is investing in training. And in fact, a lot of our companies are utilizing the brilliant training, adult vocational training facilities that we have within the group to make sure that their own staff are able to keep developing. And I think one of the other things that's really nice that we haven't even really started to scratch the surface of is it's quite difficult when you're a small company to do much in the way of career development for your employees, because there's only so far to go in a small business. But one of the nice things about being part of a group like MBH is that we're starting to see groups coming together across all of the companies to talk about ESG or to talk about what's working in marketing. So if you imagine that you're kind of the one person in a small business that's responsible for marketing, you don't actually have anyone else to talk to. You don't have anyone to bounce ideas off. And so being able to connect with your peers in other small businesses in the group and say, hey, look, I've been trying this and it's not working. Has anyone done that? And just sort of sharing best practice and what's working and what isn't is actually, I think it's a really powerful career development tool for employees in small businesses. And the nice thing about the model is with every company we add, those opportunities continue to grow.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads really nicely into something that I wanted to discuss, because obviously you recently presented as part of the MBH Female Leadership Programme, and one of the points which you discussed, which I remember listening to on your audiobook, was about asking who questions, in particular, or the question of who already knows the answer. And I thought that was really interesting, because what I found, especially in a lot of small businesses, is that leaders try and have all the answers themselves instead of thinking, actually, who can I speak to who already has that expertise? And I thought that was when you did your presentation, I thought that was a really, really interesting point.
Yeah, and look, it's born out of my own frustration and yeah, thinking that I needed to know the answers, but um, you can't know the answers to everything, and you either sort of forge ahead not knowing the answers and make mistakes, or kind of beat yourself up because you don't know the answer. So yeah, I learned a long time ago to sort of always shift my thinking to starting to ask those who questions. And I think the nice thing about the who questions is you very quickly get to, okay, so I just need to phone this person and ask them, and even if they don't know the answer, they can probably put me in touch um, with someone who does, or shape my thinking around it. So yeah, typically whenever I find myself getting frustrated or stuck, it's normally because I've forgotten that lesson and I'm trying to figure things out myself. So yep, I'm glad that resonated.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point, rather than, like you say, trying to, because I'm very guilty of that. Even now, sometimes I try and sit down and figure things out myself. It's like, well, actually, I know somebody who already has the answer. So it makes perfect sense just to reach out to them. So no, I thought that was a really, really valid point. And I know on the other ladies who attended, I know they found that really useful too. So that was great. As always, I'm going to ask, as I always do every single month, are there any acquisitions or anything exciting in the pipeline that you can even tease with
The
us?
ink's not even dry on the last deal that we've done, Lisa. Give me a break.
Well, you never know. Got to keep the momentum going.
We do. There, as always, there's nothing I can talk about. But no, there's lots of good stuff coming up. Yeah, I've got some. We're allowed to travel again, so Singapore has opened its borders, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, I'll be making a trip to a particular region of the world quite soon, and hopefully we will have some good news coming from there soon enough. But yeah, look, it's really exciting. Yeah, as you said, like the good news keeps coming from the companies. There's sort of a palpable excitement from all of them about this year. Everyone's getting very excited about catching up in April, and actually kind of going back to the last point, often a lot of the big shifts in thinking and the big partnerships or step ups in business do come when you just put a bunch of like-minded people in a room together. It's that who thing again. You start bouncing ideas around with like-minded people, and it can create some great opportunities. So I think we're all quite excited about that as well. So yeah, it's going to be. I think there's going to be plenty of good news to talk about this year.
Yeah, I know there's a few things in the pipeline in terms of potential awards and things like that. So I'm sure, and our next board chat will have much more to talk about in terms of good news. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But that was it for me in terms of questions. You're not going to give me any inklings of anything. So is there anything that you would like to discuss?
No, like I said, yes, it's been great to get our first company in Canada across the line. And yeah, first one of the year, and plenty more to come, hopefully.
Well, that's really, really exciting. But yes, thank you for your time today, Callum. And thank you to everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us next month for our next board chat. Thank you. Bye.
Find out more today at mbhcorporation.com.